Some stories, they just fade with time. But then there are others that echo through millennia. Their pulse is just as strong today as it was thousands of years ago. We're about to dive into one of the oldest stories we have, a tale from the ancient city of Uruk.
Just listen to that. It really paints a picture of a world almost lost to history, doesn't it? This is the world of the Epic of Gilgamesh. And look, this isn't just a story about kings and monsters. It's a story about what it means to be human, written down on clay tablets 4,000 years ago.
And that's the real question, right? What is it about this ancient poem that lets it just cut through empires and languages and entire civilizations to speak directly to us, right here, right now? Well, let's find out.
The answer, it turns out, starts with a really simple but pretty profound truth. The things that moved the human heart in ancient Uruk, they're the very same things that move us today.
I mean, just think about that number for a second. 4,000 years. That is the incredible time span we're talking about bridging. The story of Gilgamesh is like a direct line back to the very dawn of civilization. It's a vessel, carrying the raw emotions of our earliest ancestors straight to our doorstep.
So, here's the crucial thing to get. This epic isn't just some dusty artifact. It's a mirror. The joy of friendship, the rage of injustice, the fear of death, the search for grace, these are the universal currents flowing through the story and, through our own lives.
Okay, so at the absolute center of this whole emotional storm is the hero himself, a man of, well, immense contradictions. So, let's meet Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh was the king of Uruk, but he was so much more than that. The story paints him as this larger-than-life figure, a titanic builder, a peerless warrior, and a man whose journey would come to define the very essence of what we think of as the hero's quest. And this right here is the core conflict inside him. See, he's part divine, which gives him this superhuman strength and ambition. But, and this is a huge but, he's also part mortal. That means he carries the weight of human fragility, of loss, and the absolute certainty of death. This internal battle is the engine that drives his entire story. But Gilgamesh doesn't have to face this struggle alone. The emotional core of the epic, the one thing that truly changes him, is a powerful, powerful friendship. Before he meets his friend, Enkidu, Gilgamesh is just arrogant and tyrannical. But their bond, which is forged in mutual respect and shared adventure, it completely transforms him. It's this relationship that opens his heart to love and, devastatingly, to loss. It taps into that fundamental human need for connection, to see ourselves in someone else. And this is the moment everything changes. Enkidu dies. And for the very first time, the part god Gilgamesh is confronted with the absolute finality of death. His invincibility is just shattered. The loss of his friend becomes a total obsession. It's not just grief, it's a profound crisis. His quest for glory is suddenly replaced by this desperate, terrifying quest for immortality. He literally travels to the ends of the earth to try and escape the same fate that took his friend. So this devastating personal tragedy, it forces Gilgamesh to look beyond himself and actually start to question the powers that govern his world. And this highlights a much larger theme in the epic, the often unjust relationship between humans and the divine. Yeah, the gods in this story aren't always wise or kind. I mean, they're powerful for sure, but they're also deeply flawed. They're vain, vengeful, and capricious. You've got Ishtar, a goddess who unleashes her wrath just because her pride is wounded, and Anu, the sky god who just bends fate according to his whims. Their actions shatter honor, they bring tragedy, and they show that divine power doesn't always equal moral goodness, not even close. This line right here perfectly captures the story's challenge to authority. The epic doesn't just accept divine will, it questions it. It suggests that what the gods declare to be right might just be a twisted plea to serve their own interests. And that's the question the poem leaves with us. It forces us to ask whether justice is some absolute truth handed down from on high, or if it's something way more complex and subjective. Honestly, it's a question we are still wrestling with today in pretty much every debate about power and fairness.
So let's bring this all back to the present. This ancient story, it isn't some relic under glass in a museum, it's alive. Its themes are constantly being replayed and reinterpreted all around us.
The love, the grief, the ambition, the fear of death, these are the musical notes of our shared humanity. The Epic of Gilgamesh is one of the very first compositions, but the symphony is still being written, and we're all a part of it.
And this is a brilliant way to think about how these themes are reborn. Think of it this way. That epic narrative becomes a grand, symphonic melody. The raw, gut-wrenching emotion of Gilgamesh's grief, that's perfectly captured in a bluesy guitar solo. And the wisdom he finally gains at the end of it all, that's the clear, inspiring voice of an oboe.
In the end, Gilgamesh fails. He doesn't find eternal life, but he finds something so much more valuable: wisdom. He learns that the only true solace is in connection, in love, in the bonds we build with each other. That's the ultimate message that has echoed for 4,000 years.
Which leaves us with one final thought. The story of Gilgamesh survives because it tells a fundamental truth about being human. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? In another 4,000 years, what stories, what truths, what echoes from our time will still be heard?